Hello guys, welcome to code tutorial. Today we are going to start our second lecture, that is the lecture number 2 of C programming, which is what are variables and constants. Okay, right now we are learning this thing as per the C programming language, but the concept will be same in all of the programming languages. Alright, so the coding we will do in the C, but the concept will be same in almost all of the programming languages. Alright, so very first thing, what are these variables and constant? Before that, let us see a single word, container. Right? So what is container? Container means anything like in which you can put something or in which you can store something, right? Suppose this is a container. So here you can store any data or store anything in normal words. That is what the container is, right? Now what I am saying, now if you see, normally we have two type of containers, right? Like this is a container, suppose A, and this is a container B. Alright, so fine, this is a container B. Let us give it a name, container A, and this will be my container B. Okay, what I am saying, that A is a reusable container. What is the meaning of reusable? Means first time I enter some value, suppose 12, and similarly in the B, first time I also add a value, say 10. Okay, now what I am saying, that A is a container in which what you can do, you can store a value. Okay, so container, both of them are the container, they can store the value. But what I am saying, that B is a fixed container, means one time you can put something inside it, after that you cannot change the content of this container, right? Like you cannot do now that remove this 10 from here and add some new data. Alright, so that is not possible. So this is a fixed container over here. But in this one, let me say that my work with 12 is done. Now I want to change its value to 13 or 14. After that again my work with 14 is done. Now I want to save its change its value to 10. So that thing I can do. Okay. So this is what, here the content can vary time by time, but here the content cannot vary. Okay. So both of them are the containers. So the container in which you can store the content and that content can vary time by time is called what? Is called your variable. Okay, where constant are what? They are the containers who has fixed values. Okay, I think every one of you are familiar with something called pi, right? So the value of pi is what? 3.14. So that is a fixed value, right? So whenever we want to do this kind of things, means we want to use that particular value whose value is going to be fixed throughout the program. At that time we will use constant, and at the time when we want to change the value of the container again and again and again, at that time we will use what? Variables. Okay, so variable you can say are the containers which can store some data inside that, and their data can vary time by time. So that's why they are called what? Variables. Constant again are the container, they can also store a value, but you cannot change the value of constant. Okay, always remember these two things. Coding is the second part. Alright, I can create the constant and variable in C, in C++, Java, .NET, in any of the programming language. It is just the concern of syntax only, right? But the main concept is the value can change, the value cannot change. Main thing. Alright, so I hope this is clear. So in this lecture what we are going to do is we will use variables to store some values. Okay, so let us go to our IDE, which is dev C++. Alright, so here we are. Now let me go to the file. Then I want to create a new file, so new source file, and I always prefer to save the file first. So let us say variable intro, and the extension I want is not C++, I want what? C. Okay, so very first thing I need to include a header file because I need some inbuilt code. Okay, so that code that I need for this particular program, like printf, scanf and basic things are present in this header file stdio.h. okay, that is basically standard input output header file. And the hash include, as I already told you in the previous lecture, is a preprocessor which do the work of importing a header file in your C program. Okay, now next thing, entry point of our program. So as I told you, main function, and over here this is the body of the function, and since I give int over here, means at the end, means not at the end but within its body it will return some integer kind of value. Okay, now come to the next thing, how we can create a variable. So when you want to create a variable, first thing you need is the name of variable. So very first thing what you can take in the name is you can take any alphabet. Okay, ignore the spelling. Okay, and you can take numbers also, but what I can say is you can use a number like this, like A1 or AAS, EF, whatever one, or like this. So this is acceptable. But if you see something like this, like you want to start the name of your variable with a number and then follow it by a character, so that is not possible. Okay, so there are some limitations. You cannot give the space between the name of a variable. Second thing, you cannot use any keyword as a variable. Keyword means the words that are reserved by this particular language. Okay, like int, main, return, all these things, because they have some special meanings, right? So that's why they give us a particular limitation that you cannot create a variable with keyword. Alright, and second thing is what, whenever you are creating a variable, first you need to define that which kind of data this particular variable is going to store. Like I am saying that my variable will store a integer kind of value. So this is int a. This is what is your declaration of a variable. Okay, this is what declaration. After that, when we assign it the value very first time, this is called what? Initialization. Okay, and after that you can change the values also, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so these are the things. Now what is integer? Means a complete number, 1 2 3 4 1999, all these things. Decimals doesn't come in a integer. Okay, for that we have a special data type which is float. Okay, in this one I am going to cover the integer and the float both. So first of all, let us create a integer, and since if I give printf value of a is, and if you are thinking that you will write a over here like this and it will show you, so I can tell you over here only like how the compiler can understand that this is a and this is a variable, right? So for that issue they give you the specific thing, that is %d, and means %d is for the integer. Whenever you will pass a %d, it will wait for a integer value after comma. So over here let us say a. Okay, so the value of this a will come at this particular place. Now let us run this. You can see value of a is %d. What is the value? 1. Okay, since it is a variable, now I can change its value. So I am saying a is equal to 2 or 20. Okay, and again I want to print the value, right? So over here again save it and run this again. You can see value of a is 1 and then the value of a is 20. You can see they are two different printf statement, but line is not getting changed. So whenever you want to change the line, you need to use the /n. Alright, over here let us see. Fine, value of a is 1, value of a is 20. Okay, similarly if you want to create the float value, you can also create it. If you want to create a character value, character means what? A single character it will contain. Okay, so that you can do by using the char keyword. I hope till now these things are clear. So the next thing is how we can use the float in C. Okay, so how you can create a float variable. As I told you, like whenever you want to create a variable, first you need to give it a data type. Alright, so over here let us declare a float value, say float x. Okay, and you cannot give, means you cannot create two variables with same name, because obviously like in any house or in any home, no, in any house or in any home they will not name their two children as the same, right? So this is the concept. And over here for float, now I can give this kind of value, and the format specifier for the particular float is %f. Fine, and comma the value of x. After that again I want to change the value of this to 20.3 or fine, like this. Let us change the line also, and I am going to paste the same thing over here, save it and check. Alright, so this is what the floating point is. And one more thing is, like if I give a complete number 2, okay, now see what will come. 2 is an integer, but I assigned it inside a float. So it is a characteristic of a float that it will take these particular zeros if you have a complete number. Alright, you can see it will make my 20.3 as 20.299999, right? So this is what the variables are. In this one, let us create one more example where I will take two variables, say int a, comma b, comma c. So this is how I can create or I can declare multiple variables at the same time. Okay, but for that the data type of all of three will be same. Now I am saying that a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, and now this is a normal mathematical things. C is equal to a plus b. So the value of a is 1, the value of b is 2. So obviously the value of c will be 3, right? So over here I can see like printf sum is and the value of c, comma c, right? and let me change the line after this also. See, sum is 3. If you want to say that the sum of 2 and 1 is 3, okay, so we can write the sum of %d and %d is %c. Now there will be mapping like A will go to first %d, comma B will go to second %d, comma C will go to third %d. Okay, now let us run. So the sum of 1 and 2 is 3, right? Similarly, after this, suppose I want to see the difference. So over here I will say A minus B, right? And copy the same thing. I just need to give the difference of this and run. So the difference of 1 and 2 is -1. The sum of 1 and 2 is 3. Alright. So this is what the variable is. At line number 11, C has some other value, whereas at line number 13, its value get changed to A minus B, that is -1. Alright. So its value is getting vary. You can see the value of A is also getting vary in line number 1 and line number 17. Okay. So this is a thing. I hope you guys now got the concept of what a variable are actually. Okay. So if you like the video, press the thumbs up. Thank you.